Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sounds from the Studio, brought to you by Contemporary Craft. Contemporary Craft fosters the use of traditional craft materials such as ceramic, fiber, glass, metal, and wood to make art. Our community honors the history and heritage of craft while showcasing modern, exploratory work.
And since our organization is located in Pittsburgh, PA, we decided to bring some of the stories of our exhibiting and studio artists to a broader audience by way of this podcast. I'm Rachel, the Executive Director at Contemporary Craft.
And I'm Camila, a podcaster and art enthusiast. We are your hosts for this journey, and there are many ways to keep up with us. You can go to the Facebook page and like it, Contemporary Craft, on Twitter at SCCPGH, Instagram at SCCPGH, or just go to contemporarycraft.org.
As part of our new solo artist series, we recently opened the exhibition titled Oneness, featuring works by New Mexico-based artist Bree Rouet. It's a large survey of her work spanning 8 years, and it explores the idea of memory, place, and experience and how they impact an individual's perception. The work truly fills our gallery with such a presence that you feel almost as though you've been transported to a different landscape while you're here. It's open until May 2nd, so I hope you'll come by to experience the work.
Hey, Sharon and Sharon, welcome to Sounds from the Studio. How are you both doing today?
Doing great.
Yeah, good, thanks.
Thanks for joining us, and we're looking forward to exploring you and your work process.
This is the first time we've had two people on at once, so this is fun. We'll see how it goes, huh? We're looking forward to talking with you both today. You have a really exciting endeavor underway with your collaborative work through local exchange, which we will get to shortly. But if we could first maybe establish a bit of a baseline about each of you as individuals. And Sharon, would you be willing to share with our listeners a little about your background or your work as a faculty member?
Sure. So I'm a metalsmith, enamelist, jeweler. I teach at Indiana University of Pennsylvania, IUP, and I teach jewelry and metals, 3D design and digital fabrication, and other courses that support digital fabrication at IUP.
Yeah, and I'm Sean Derry. Also teach at Indiana University of Pennsylvania. I'm a sculptor. I teach sculpture as well as 3D design and digital fabrication.
So what exactly is local exchange, and how did it start?
So Local Exchange is a collaboration that evolved over a long time of collaborating. I guess we've been working together on different collaborations since about 2017, and Local Exchange has evolved from those. And so we come up with projects that involve design, technology, and digital fabrication, and come up with different ways to present them in public. A lot of our projects, we include our students at IUP, but not all of them. And I think I'll let Sean elaborate more.
I think so. Some of our early collaborations were trying to provide extracurricular learning opportunities for the students here at IUP. We just saw a need to help students kind of bridge into careers and pathways after leaving school, and it became clear to us that a lot of people could benefit from that sort of mentorship and projects that would introduce design technology and situate that in projects that encourage emerging artists and young learners to be involved in their communities and to celebrate that. And so that kind of became the impetus for Local Exchange and the idea of just empowering young people to have agency and impact in their communities.
So I have some questions about your current endeavor, but actually before we leave it, to maybe put a little bit of framework around that conceptual idea, so I follow you on Instagram. I'm a total fangirl here. I love it. So we'll just get that out of the way before I start talking about things. You're like, how does she know that? So I noticed there was, I think, a pendant light project or something, and then it seems like maybe you invite people from the local community to come in and actually, are they judging the students' work? Or can you tell us a little bit about one of the specific projects for people to wrap their head around? What are the students designing?
Sure. So the project you're mentioning, we call Design Stars, and we call it our fake reality television show. So we have students design three-dimensional light fixtures, and then we have a show where we invite a panel of 3 judges to come in and jury those prototypes, and then usually 2 or 3 of the light fixtures are selected to be fabricated in acrylic and permanently displayed on campus here at IUP.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
From what pool are your judges coming from?
Well, I was just going to invite Rachel maybe to be a judge this year.
I'm in. Yes.
Yeah, so we call them sort of like local celebrity judges, and we've had people come in from Pittsburgh, from the design community. Sometimes we just have people from the university be judges, but yeah, we'll get you that date. It's in May this semester.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really exciting. And so really quick before we leave this still, Sean, you mentioned that some of those lights end up on campus, like installed. Has it gone like further than campus, or like can we get a light? Like what?
I think certainly there's potential for that. We've had people express interest in purchasing light fixtures, and I think yeah, we haven't quite put that mechanism in place yet, but we would be excited to do that.
I mean, that would be really cool to go ahead and expand, to let them out a little bit further into the world, into the wild, especially if someone just happens to be a judge and they happen to have a facility that would benefit from the said fixture that she chose.
Yeah. We should talk about this next offline. But I really appreciate you mentioning that, though, because I know, certainly Sean, from what I've seen of your work, there is also like this public practice. So this idea that this is work going into public spaces, that is an exciting factor, which does bring us to the endeavor of public space. You two have just acquired a mini truck, right? Yeah. How's that coming together? What is going on with it?
Yeah, what is that about?
Well, we've wanted a mini truck for a long time, and this past year we wrote a grant through Remake Learning, and we were awarded a moonshot grant to create a project called Studio Stream. And so Studio Stream, we're converting the Japanese mini truck into a communication satellite, and we're going to take it to rural Pennsylvania. We're going to go to Brownsville this summer and have a mobile radio station for teens. So we'll invite the local teens to create content, whether it's radio plays, podcasts, music, poetry. We'll record their original content and we'll broadcast it on a web-based radio station.
That's amazing. So it's local teens, like where are they coming from? You're just working with the schools there?
We're partnering with Rivers of Steel on the project, and they have some programming already happening in Brownsville and connected with some local organizations. And so we're working with a number of organizations there, really kind of focusing on outside of school time and providing some kind of creative outlets. There also will be teaching some basic electronic circuit design, and all the participants will be designing their own Bluetooth speaker to be able to listen to the radio station. And so the idea is to sort of cultivate the expression of the learners and then project that back into their communities through the station, but also through some listening events and gatherings in Brownsville this summer.
That's awesome. How long has this been on your wish list of things to do? And it's finally come to fruition.
Well, the Studio Stream really developed in us thinking about trying to apply for a moonshot grant, and certainly was involved around some of our other fascinations with space and things that are happening, just kind of cultural conversations around space. And so that's probably, we developed that
last summer.
Yeah.
So on
well, congratulations.
Yeah. I was gonna say, on Instagram, you've been sharing some really fun and exciting images of the rehab of this truck. So is that the two of you working on that? Are students engaged in that? It looks like a real project.
Yeah, right now it's just us kind of doing we redid the interior from a camo interior into something a little bit more aesthetically pleasing.
Not camo.
And just this morning, we actually finished a metallic rose gold wrap on the truck, and so it's super shiny and metallic, and it looks great. And now we're going to start kind of building the actual satellite parts, and the radio station components are going to start coming together. So we haven't involved students at this point, but we do plan to bring on some students when we actually start engaging in Brownsville and working on the radio station, because that's not really our area of expertise, and we think we have some comm media students here at IUP that could bring their radio expertise to the project.
That's exciting. So will this truck, will it have a standard location, or will it kind of move around throughout the community?
I think we're hoping to have it in a few locations. I mean, the idea was sort of mobile programming. We're not relying on participants having their own mode of transportation. We can kind of come into and access populations that are right there in their community. And so the hope would be that we'd have a few projects locations throughout the summer that we're doing programming in.
Sounds fun.
Oh, yeah, so I'm looking at your Instagram now, and I'm checking out the truck, because I don't know, someone says mini truck, I don't know what that means, but now I'm looking at it, and it literally is like a mini truck, and I'm assuming you're going to attach a trailer of something behind it, or you're building the studio on the back of it?
So the studio will go sort of in the bed of the mini truck as kind of a transformer sort of satellite component. And I think, maybe on a slightly more serious note, our interest in the mini truck, first and foremost, maybe we're interested in it aesthetically, but also thinking about working in the public realm. How people approach a project is really important, and I think the mini truck is so unassuming, and I think the alterations that we're doing are to make it sort of clearly not fit the surroundings, and to sort of draw attention and draw people in through curiosity. And so I think the mini truck is a great tool to invite people into public programming where they may otherwise pass by or miss it, or not feel like it's for them.
Yeah, I gotta say that rose gold overlay, that's spot on. That is pretty, and that's definitely a attention grabber. That's going to draw a lot of people to you, I'm sure. So I believe that you were at Contemporary Crafts Out of Hand last year with some students, and you had a product vending machine there. Let's talk about that.
Sure. So that is a project that we've been doing called Common Goods, and it's a project that we do as part of our 3D design and digital fabrication class to introduce students to Rhino 3D software, which is a CAD software. And we have the students conceive of an item that we need but can't purchase. So something like empathy, kindness, rest, rainbows. And then they design a paper package to hold that item, whatever they come up with. Then they create a paper prototype. We teach them how to use Rhino to digitize the file. We teach them how to use the laser cutter to make multiples. And we make the packages for sale. So we brought the vending machines to Contemporary Craft last spring. Sometimes in the fall, actually every fall, we do a pop-up store. And so we'll pop up somewhere, and for about a week, we'll have the packages on display, and we sell them to the public. I think maybe Sean can expand a little more on the project.
Yeah, so the vending machines were, in the fall, the store works great, but the spring is a little more difficult. And so the idea was to create some human-powered vending machines and stage those in different locations and highlight the student designs. But as Sharon mentioned, we also do sell the packages, and the proceeds from those sales go back into a fund where students can apply to take an original design and either prototype that or bring a small run of items to production for a sale that we also organize and do. So trying to kind of leverage the work that's happening to support, again, students kind of seeing the power of what they're making and how that could support them.
It's interesting as you're talking about this, something's coming to mind for me that I'm curious about. So especially Sharon, I've known you for a number of years now, and I think about this work and what you're doing with this local exchange and this collaborative work that you're doing together, and I'm wondering, like, is it or how is it impacting your personal work? Like, I think, I have for so long known you specifically like as a jeweler or a metalsmith. Of course, your role as a faculty member goes far beyond that, but just for either of you, how do you feel like this work is impacting your personal practice?
Yeah, that's a good question. I do find myself kind of getting more excited about the work we're doing, because the projects they have so many layers to them, and there's a really fun component usually, something really approachable and accessible, but then just a lot of serious content as well, and then a lot of skill building for both our students and then the other public participants we work with. So I'm really excited about that, and it allows me to kind of think about artwork in a different way than my work as a jeweler, which is still, I really enjoy making work in metal and working on that scale, but it doesn't feel as meaningful as the work that we're doing collaboratively. So it is kind of started to be a little bit of a balance, like where my priorities are and what work I want to work on. I think I've also kind of brought in a little bit more of entrepreneurial ideas into my jewelry classes, and having students kind of think more about how they can make work and make a living making their work as metalsmiths and jewelers too.
I would agree with Sharon. I think for me, the collaboration, there's a lot of overlapping interests, but I think we have kind of a really nice blend of skills when we collaborate. There are things that I'm not capable of doing that Sharon is really good at, and so that sort of opened up the possibility of new projects and the possibility of sort of expanding projects beyond what I could do individually, and it just feels like what we're doing with local exchange is really relevant now, more so than the installation and gallery-based work that I have done. And so I think my individual work is evolving and changing, and probably largely because of local exchange as well.
Yeah, I think it's always interesting when somebody is working in a way that's so different than their, the path that they've been on, and how those two things end up informing one another. And I appreciate both of your answers, just kind of like where you find meaning and how you bring that together. So you're doing a lot already, but I'm curious if there's like any dreams that you have for the future of where local exchange might eventually end up going.
You go first.
Oh. Well, we're almost finished formalizing local exchange as a standalone 501c3 nonprofit organization. Oh. So that's been sort of in the works for the last couple months, and that's exciting. And I think ultimately, we're really grateful for the ability to develop these projects, and we have more projects kind of in sort of the development stage that we'd like to do. We're interested in continuing to work with learners in informal educational settings, and hopefully partnering with other organizations and businesses in Western Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I think you covered everything.
Awesome.
In what you're doing now with local exchange and your day jobs and everything else, you're obviously helping the next generation come to terms with their identity as artists and makers and becoming comfortable with that. When did each of you accept that you were an artist?
I was about 12. I was pretty serious about art from middle school on, and I went to an art high school and really never looked back. So yeah, it's been kind of my whole life. But I know.
What was your medium at 12? Like, what were you
Drawing
doing?
mostly at 12, but I started metalsmithing in the 10th grade. So by the time I was 15, I was pretty set on metals. So yeah, super long career as a metalsmith. And maybe that's part of why I'm ready to like explore other mediums and do other things, because I've had such a long time in metal. But I know Sean's path was a little different.
Well, just a second,
Oh.
Sean. Hold on. Do you recall like what it was that drew you to metalsmithing, that made you stick to him? Like, yes, this is where I want to be. This is.
Yeah, I think it would just there. Well, I really like working on sort of a small scale personally. It's just kind of the right scale for me. But the problem solving involved with metal was really appealing. So it like needing to work on things in a particular order and then kind of figuring out how to make the metal do what you want, and also sort of the precision that it allowed. All of those things kind of came together and made me really appreciate working in that medium and feeling like I could keep learning for the rest of my life, which I think is true. Like there's just so many skills that you can never learn all of it.
Yeah. Okay, Sean. What about your path? When you accepted that you're an artist?
Yeah, so it was later for me. I raced Nordic skiing throughout kind of my teenage years, and originally went to school to become a physical therapist, and about my midway through my junior year of undergrad, I sort of decided that wasn't what I wanted to do, and I had always. I was lucky to go to a high school that had an amazing ceramics program with a couple wood kilns and a whole bunch of wheels, and I'd always worked in clay since high school in different sort of capacities, and decided to go back home and study art, and thought I was going to become a potter and live out in the middle of nowhere in Alaska and make functional ceramics, and sort of happened into a university at a really great time with a lot of peers that really pushed me, and became interested in working in a lot of different mediums, and so sculpture became kind of the logical direction and studio to then specialize in. So I would say, I don't know how old I was, but junior year of undergrad was when I sort of made that switch and committed.
Nice. Where are each of you from originally?
So I was born and raised in Homer, Alaska.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I'm from Greenville, South Carolina.
Oh, goodness. Okay, Alaska. Are all the misconceptions like, like I have this crazy notion of like just only what television and media has told me about Alaska. Like, first of all, is it actually like you get these long periods of darkness and then long periods of light? Secondly, is everything covered in ice?
No, so yeah, I mostly put myself through undergrad. I had a lawn care and landscaping business that I did, and so there is a lot of daylight in the summer, and things grow like crazy, and so where I lived was fairly mild climate-wise, and there's lots of green things in the summer, but it is dark in the winter, and it does wear on you a little bit.
Well, it has been great talking with you both, but I'm curious if there's anything that we haven't covered that you want to share, either about a local exchange or your own studio practice, what you have going on in the works for yourselves.
Plug the mini truck review.
Oh yeah. We are planning a reveal party for the mini truck coming up in May.
Nice.
It will be out here in Indiana County, but we're hoping people will make the trek from Pittsburgh and beyond to come out and maybe take some mini truck rides and have some all kinds of mini things. I don't know. Yeah, so that'll be coming up soon.
So it'll be things like mini cupcakes and mini beverages.
Yes, yeah, mini cupcakes, mini beverages. We have mini chairs. We have a lot of mini things. And we'll promote that on our Instagram. So if you follow us at local_x_change, you can be sure to like get the dates and times and stuff for that.
Excellent. We'll make sure we push that out as well.
Great.
All right, so now we come to the more musical portion of the show, and hopefully you both have prepared each, not combined, you each have separate lists of the 3 songs that you think describe your work.
We didn't finish our homework.
Sharon. Do you at least have one apiece?
So we did not, we did this, we work collaboratively all the time. Like okay. We collaborated on the list.
Okay, that's fine. That's accepted.
Okay. But we have really stressed out about it, and we have a few that we are happy with. So
what's funny is like this is the one question, everything that we ask, this is the question that everybody universally is like, I stressed out the most about this. This is the most sweating I've done about preparing for this podcast. So you're not alone.
Well, we listen to a lot of NPR and like podcasts and things, so coming up with songs was a challenge. But we did choose "Welcome to My Island" by Caroline Polachek.
Not familiar.
It's good. It kind of it relates to our Traffic Island Oasis project a little bit. It's on our playlist for that project. And then there's a PJ Harvey song called "You Said Something" that we felt like would be good. And then
I do enjoy PJ Harvey.
What's our third one?
I thought you said you were going to come up with a random one.
Surprise you.
Yeah. You didn't come up with some?
No. No. Well, we could go with an Andrew Bird song.
Mitosis.
Sure. Yeah.
All right.
Mitosis. All right, great. So if you're interested in what Local Exchange collaboratively have put on their playlist, you can check out the Sounds from the Studio musical playlist. This is a collection of all of our guests' chosen songs, and it's all on Spotify. So yeah.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much. It's been great talking to you. Where exactly, so we know where they can find you on Instagram as Local Exchange. What about as independent artists? Is there a spot people can follow along with what you're making personally?
Yeah, so my Instagram is just at Sharon 3_ Massey.
I don't know what my handle is.
Is it Shawn _Derry?
I think it's Shawn _Derry. Yeah.
Do a little research.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sure it'll probably pop up eventually. Sounds from the Studio is produced by Rugged Angel Productions for Contemporary Craft. Hosted by Rachel Rearick and Camila Adams with production support by Mandy Wilson. Please subscribe to and rate the show wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to share. Thanks for listening.